Yeah, my name is Helio Monteiro, Director of Virtual Design and Construction for Venture General Contracting. I'm going to touch on our process and what we're using it for. Venture doesn't self-perform like Skanska does, but we do utilize a lot of virtual design construction, building information modeling techniques to be able to make our jobs run efficiently. So Venture is Seattle, locally owned and operated. We do work all the way up from Linwood down to Tacoma, west side and east side. Primarily, we do a lot of multifamily projects. That's where the company started with. And then we moved on to tenant improvement projects. We've done commercial projects. We've done sports facilities. Basically, if they bring us an idea to build, we'll take a look at it, right? Venture being a company that's kind of put together of this hybrid of like pulling people from different companies. I think the term there's poaching, but we've got a lot of great minds that come from different backgrounds and experiences to help us complete these projects and as they come through the door. So just some examples of projects, the fun ones, if anybody here is a D&D or Magic the Gathering fan, Wizards of the Coast, their office, the Sounders practice facility, BMW. If you build their projects, they do not give you discounts on cars. Just so you don't have to ask. I ask for you. And then some exciting projects like our 32-story tower on Denny Way. We were just talking about this one. That slab oscillates in 4 different directions as it moves up the building. It's a wonderful project. It looks great. It looks like an Arida French fry. But through some of the processes that we use through BIM and also cmBuilder on this project, we were actually able to have great success on it and have great deck-to-deck, 1-week turnaround placement on this project. And then where Venture started, the bread and butter, just kind of multifamily projects, ground up, or we're going in, like in Tacoma, gutting an office building and turning it into some living spaces. As far as what Venture does for our platforms, when it comes to the BIM and VDC side, we just switched over to Autodesk from Procore last year. We're making the full transition go over. It's integrating really well with our tools. One of the things that we have planned for the future is integrating it into our cmBuilder platform for hosting our models. Naviz laser scanning, as we're trying to bring in that information as well. The exciting things that cmBuilder is doing with like the Google tiles for getting the actual site and city and feel. That plays a huge factor when going out to bids for jobs and having that understanding. And we'll talk a little bit about what that means as well. Coordination, just like everybody else, we run clash detection, we do 2D overlays, everybody's got a Bluebeam studio session open, right? We do all the same coordination, composite shop drawings to make sure that the jobs run smoothly. So the question is that, if we're all using the same platforms, we are all, same programs, everybody's got experience, everybody knows somebody, everybody knows how to work with the AHAs, then what really sets you apart? And hopefully we'll, share some, we'll call them secrets, because really it's just, we're all doing the same thing, right? It's how you present, it's how you connect, it's how you present the project and yourself and your team, where the budget lands, where the schedule lands, right? And we'll kind of go through some of the experiences that we've had. So cmBuilder overall has helped us win jobs, deeper understanding of the logistics. Just like Dean was saying, that was probably like really complex what he was showing as far as the timing and everything that has to go. And then the different product types that we do will have different pain points, different requirements for that project to be successful. And then if you can clarify that to owners. So maybe the 2 things I would say to hold on to today from at least this part of the presentation is we'll talk about scope gap and how we're bridging that, but then also how we're interacting with clients. And part of the clients also is just our team members. We'll just call them overall team members because it goes down from the client, the designer, and then all of our sub-trade partners within that process. So with the owner, because we do a lot of different types of products, we're going to have people in the room, especially at that bid level, that may not understand the sequencing of construction. They may not understand what you mean, and if I go into BIM clash detection, they start to glaze over a little bit, right? Because what does it mean to them and what does it mean for their project? We'll show a couple of schools here coming up where really what's important is not disturbing their process that they've got going on, and student safety. How are we preparing for that? And we could draw it up on a plan and show them, or we could put it in cmBuilder and actually get them the right information. This one here, there's a parking lot that's going to pop up right here when it cycles. cmBuilder is helping us communicate information over to the owner who's thinking, hey, that parking lot can stay open, so that the H-Mart there is able to keep their parking spaces that they need. But then when you take the schedule and cmBuilder and put them together, it shows that if that does stay open, it stops our excavation and we're not able to excavate that side. So then the question becomes, hey, is it cheaper to hold us off, or is it cheaper to find maybe some parking spaces over here and put a blacktop down and rent it out? How can we make your job efficient? We know you're going to spend money. How can we be good stewards of that money? And then just like Dean was saying, you'll get models at every level. And I've done cmBuilder with SketchUp blocks, and I've done cmBuilder where the architect has provided, their model from a previous bid, and they decided to go from all concrete to a mixed elements and go wood on top. And even though I use their concrete model, they can't tell, and I just pretended like that was wood, and it worked out, right? So it doesn't have to be too complex. It doesn't have to be modeled out as far as it needs to if you're just trying to get the point across. And cmBuilder does a great job of allowing us to do that. As far as the safety aspect, we keep kind of dipping our toe in the water for the safety process and seeing where we can build it. This is a site that was down in Tacoma. As it pops up, you'll start to see where the decks and the excavation is going and kind of communicating over the complexity of the project. We actually sat through this with our safety manager and showed him, like, hey, here's where we're gonna have all the openings that we think that are major, that we're gonna need covers. Here's where the leading edges are. Here's where the elevations are gonna be. As we go through this excavation, we're able to sit down and have that conversation with them. And then as we're bringing these team members on board, they're actually able to give us information as well. So if we're talking about kind of that scope gap portion, scope gap usually happens when two different systems connect and touch, right? Where you're gonna have the most problem because there's not communication on both sides. So what we try to do with virtual design and construction is, BIM is not the contract document, we all know that, the plans are. But I'm going to take those plans, convert them into models, and those are our most current information, and we support that model because we know what's in it. We know that we're coordinating with other teams. I think cmBuilder is doing the same thing, just on the field and site side, where now I'm getting the owner engaged and they're taking a look at this and they're putting in the information that they want, restrictions or requirements that they have, and we're able to kind of have that more generous conversation with them and bring them up to speed in something that they're looking at their documents, we're looking at our documents. This is kind of putting it all together on the site side. Communication overall, I think Dean hammered it home. Just communication, communication, and over communication. Tight sites. This is Seattle Prep. One way in, one way out. We're kind of building and backing ourselves out of that space. I like to cheat a lot and keep the site flat, because then as soon as I'm starting to do the activations, I get kind of lazy. But what it's not showing is that over here on this side, it's just a cliff face, right? It's just a hill, and it just straight drops. So being able to take measurements in cmBuilder, understand how we're getting around the building, how we're putting that facade on, and coordinating it step by step with a schedule on the bottom, so everybody understand what piece is going in the ground at what time, to be able to be successful in that, because it's a school, it's operating, we need to be in and out as efficient as we can. Birchie School, Mass Timber Project. We went into this one, tight site. Again, there's going to be students walking across the front of the sidewalk, flaggers on each side, right? Just making sure that the site is safe and secure, showing them kind of the extent of what we're doing to their existing building, the demo, and then the new build, what it's going to affect, how they're not going to have access to their park, when they're going to have access back to it, and safety measures. If you can communicate that during a bid, it just makes you way more successful, because they know everybody's going to come and do an estimate. They know everybody's going to ask the subs for information. They know everybody's going to have the experience and know the knowledge and build, but if you could dive deep into their projects and show them. And the hard part about kind of the GC side is we're trying to crank these out as fast as we can. It's a numbers game, right? How many of them can you put out and what can you bring back in? cmBuilder helps us be able to cut that time short, because I have done it in SketchUp and in Revit, and created videos that way, and it's a lot faster to go through cmBuilder, and there's a lot more elements you can bring in to help. Traffic control studies, this is for the Mariners. Eventually we'll get going on putting bollards out there for public safety, and being able to sit with them and kind of bring that traffic control to life. Again, their lifeblood is the people that go to the games, right? That is their client. They want to keep them safe. They want to keep it operational. They have to continue that revenue stream. And if you're the GC that comes in and can convey, hey, this is how I'm going to be able to keep it open, keep the people safe, but then also get the job done in the most efficient manner, it speaks volumes to what they're looking for in a partner GC. Sequencing is pretty big. So this is BMW up in Linwood. This was our first try at kind of just like the sequencing of the panels, the tilt-up panels that were going, and being able to have everybody aware. And we actually had this during like the foreman meetings as well, before the work started, and then kind of at each phase to be able to show them where each piece was going, but also help validate how they had the pieces laid out. Because once we started doing it and we were counting the pieces, I think the issue was that one of them that we had to pick, there was another one placed on top of it, right? So it looks like we have a lot of site to work with. There's a lot of grade changes. Really, we just wanted the flattest spot to be able to do this, and then understand the sequencing that would go, so we're not having to pick up a panel to move to grab the panel under it, and everybody understands the timing of the sequence. This one here is just an example of something we put together in about a week. We got a model from the designer. We actually didn't end up winning this job, but we were kind of throwing everything we could at it. It's got the Google tile in the background. It's got colors. It's got different elements for the wood structure, phasing, where the crane's going, and we use it as a communication tool. We didn't end up getting the job, but I think it kind of showcased the tool and what it could do, and how far we kind of push it to get more of a realistic adaptation of what we were doing, including showing like, hey, at the end there, we're kind of pulling up a mobile to kind of get the last side because it wasn't enough coverage. So for kind of like all those projects, the speed at which we can kind of do these and get them sent out the door to be able to convey the intent. One of our first cmBuilder experiences was that I put the tower crane where the superintendent wanted, and then I brought in the model, and the first floor stopped short. The second floor actually had an extension that went out. So he's like, hey, that's a great spot to put the crane, just because he's looking at the first floor plan. And then we threw it in cmBuilder, and we're like, oh, we have a problem immediately, right? So we had to decide where we wanted to move that. So communication with our superintendents, having them in the model and having them in cmBuilder to be able to plan out what they wanted to be doing. And then we've had superintendents that have jumped in, created copies of our projects for the small scopes that they've been wanting to do, and then to be able to, simple things like fencing, where the activity is going to be, and kind of starting them small, right? They're not going to jump in and be able to manipulate models and be able to do a ton of stuff, but it's enough for them to get their thoughts across and on a plan to be able to explain it to owner teams or the subcontractors that are coming on site. The beautiful thing about this is that I don't see too much of a heavy lift between our massive projects like the last one I showed and kind of the smaller school projects. There's not too much time in between the two if you have the information that you need. So it really works well for all of our product types and all of our project sizes. We definitely want to push more that connectivity to Autodesk to be able to have information a little bit more fluid as it updates and changes. I think that will really push us into the construction phase, where my architect is giving me updates, I'm pushing the updates in. We're using P6 and MS Project. Right now we're finding a lot more success on the MS Project side for being able to link in. But if MS Project is updating and the architectural model is updating, we're in the realm of, if anybody's used Synchro before, but without kind of the heavy intensiveness that you need to have for Synchro. Like you almost needed like a master's degree to work that program when it was first coming out. But then kind of the ease of use of cmBuilder. And it doesn't have to look perfect. It doesn't have to look, the rendering tool was super nice though. Like that was a nice touch. But it doesn't have to look that way to get your point across, to be able to get the information to where it needs to go. But yeah, that's what Venture's doing right now for cmBuilder.
That's great.